what does John Harbaugh want? Has he, in your reporting, Albert Breer, communicated this to anyone that has kicked a tire on him? Has he told people, beat it, I'm not interested when I do start talking the next week? Like, what has he communicated to franchises that can give a fan base a little bit of hope, if that's who they're looking for, or to move on to somebody else? Albert, what do you got for me?
I'm not aware of any direct communication between John Harbaugh and any organization. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
Sure.
Because back channeling happens all the time,
but he's allowed to do it. I mean, he's gone. You know what I mean? Like,
but
he can do it.
He can. And here's the thing: is like, if he says, like, I'll put it this way to you. So his agent's a guy named Brian Harlan. If you're John Harbaugh and you tell Brian Harlan, okay, you know what? I was there 18 years. I want to take a few days and just decompress and think about things. Isn't it the agent's job to at that point to kind of go check out the landscape and see what's out there?
Heck, yeah. I would want my agent to do that, and I'd also tell my agent, while I take a break, and the agent, John, we have an opportunity to go here, but they have a general manager. Who do you have in mind? Or they already have talked about this and, over dinner or whatever over the years, that if I ever go somewhere else, this is the guy I'd want. I mean, that's the point. You know what I mean? Like, it's gone viral. You saw that, I'm sure. Jackson Dart, the lip readers, with him on the sideline prior or during the game last night.
Stefanski, I think.
Yeah. Like, he's like, somebody asked him, who's coming to the Giants to be your coach? And he says, Harbaugh, Stefanski, but I don't know. You could absolutely read those lips. So, but they've got a GM there, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if that would be a fit just because of that, unless he does love Joe Shane. I don't know. The question is, what does he want? What does he want?
Just knowing what I know about John,
sure,
I'd say alignment. I think that's really important to him.
Meaning what? What does that mean?
Meaning, like, what he experienced in Baltimore and what Ozzie Newsome set up for him. And what he had in an owner in Steve Bisciotti. And we've both been around Steve, right? Like, I think Steve's a pretty good guy to work for. Like, he has standards. He has an idea of the way he wants his program to be. But he also is going to let everybody do their jobs, Like, he's not an overlord at all, Like, so, like, I think, the like, having some level of certainty in ownership is going to be important to him. Here's the other thing. There's been a lot of talk over the last few days, right, about what really happened in Baltimore. Here's what I would tell you that I know. Okay. So John Harbaugh is a player's coach. I 100%, I would say that with 100% certainty, because I've heard stories from his best players about how he listens to them, how he adjusts schemes for them, how he's an ideas guy. You talk to the guys who've been through there, Wink Martindale, Jesse Minter, Mike McDonald on the offensive side, guys like Greg Roman and Todd Monken. Like, he has his hands in everything. He's pushing everything forward. And, like, he just has an idea of what he wants things to look like. He wants everybody to innovate. He wants everybody to be working at his pace. And I think the problem there the last couple of years may not have been so much like the players are out on him as, like, can I push this team to be what I need it to be to run my program the way I want to run it? And I think Jim's the same way, right? Like, I think Jim is a player's coach too. I think Jim requires a certain type of player, though. Like, there's a type of player who can play for Jim Harbaugh. And I think when he got to the Chargers, he found it. Justin Herbert, Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater, Derwin James is like one of his favorite players ever.
Yep.
And those guys set the pace for him. So I think having a place where he can look at it and say, I can line it up the way I want to run it, And I think for him, that's not only going to include research about the general manager and the owner. I think it's going to include research on the players on hand. Like, so does he look at the Giants and say, I can get Malik Neighbors and Abdul Carter and Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence and Jackson Dart, the guys that are going to be there. Can I push them the way I need to push them? And can I get them to be the torchbearers for what I'm trying to build? I think that's part of the equation for John.
Well, then what happened in Baltimore where he wasn't able to push the same guys anymore? You know what I mean? Like that's a fair follow-up here, Albert, where it's just.
And I do think
it's
that
18 years. It's not like all of it. There are some guys there that have been there for years, and that's the quarterback is clearly one of them. Was there something going on between the two of those guys?
He loves the quarterback.
He says that anybody will listen. Sure.
Hey, if he winds up in Miami, and all of a sudden Lamar Jackson is available for trade, I'm not going to do the Brian Windhorst thing here, but and I love Windy, but I think he'd be interested, I think would he have loved Lamar to have been there more in the offseason? Absolutely. And that's part of what I'm talking about as far as torchbearers go, right? I think for them to run the program they wanted to run, you really do need a high level of buy-in. And again, I just think for most of John Harbaugh's 18 years, he had that, you can go through the names: Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, more recently, guys like CJ Mosley, Eric Weddle, there were guys that were Anquan Bolden, you knew what a Raven was, and so I think he would be looking for that same type of player. And they have a really good roster. I don't know that they had that percentage of guys that were that way, the same way they might have a couple of years ago.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.